Ryan Matthews had lived most of his life with everything money could buy. Luxury penthouses, private jets, high-level connections, and a reputation that made business magazines hungry for his next interview. Even so, he often felt a strange emptiness when the cameras stopped flashing. That night, after leaving a charity gala in the desert, he drove alone along a quiet highway, enjoying the rare silence. The desert air was cool, the sky endless, and for the first time in months he felt like he could breathe. Little did he know his entire life was about to take a turn he never expected. As he approached an abandoned gas station, something small, almost like a shadow, caught his attention near the edge of the road. He hit the brakes, squinting into the darkness. The shape moved. Slowly, Ryan stepped out of his car, his polished shoes crunching against gravel. When he got closer, his heart tightened. A little Apache girl, barefoot and shaking, stood before him. Her clothes were dirty, her arms covered in dust, and she clutched a carved wooden eagle with both hands as if it were her only protection in the world. Her wide eyes, filled with fear and exhaustion, stared at him without blinking. Ryan lowered himself to her level, speaking softly, trying not to frighten her. She didn't respond, not with a word, not even a nod. She simply looked hungry, terrified, and on the verge of collapsing. Her small fingers trembled around the wooden carving. When her stomach growled loudly, Ryan felt something inside him break. He removed his jacket and wrapped it around her shoulders, lifting her gently as if she were made of glass. He placed her carefully in the passenger seat of his luxury SUV, adjusting the heater so she wouldn't freeze. As he drove toward Phoenix, he kept glancing at her, watching her stare out the window with hollow eyes, as though searching for something she had lost. She didn't speak a single word, not even when he offered her water. The only sound she made was a soft, shaky breath now and then, as if every inhale hurt. Ryan felt a rising urgency, who had left her alone in the desert. When they reached his modern mansion, he carried her inside. He gave her warm soup, clean clothes, and a soft bed to sleep in. She ate quietly, cautiously, like someone who didn't know when her next meal would come. Over the next 4 days, he watched her move through his home like a quiet shadow. She barely spoke, but she always kept the wooden eagle close. Slowly, she began drawing simple sketches on pieces of paper he left for her. Mountains, rivers, 3 Apache women. Their faces looked sad and worried. Ryan studied every drawing with growing concern. Something about the way she pressed the pencil, the way she shaded the mountains, felt like a cry for help. She still hadn't told him her name, so he gently called her Sky, inspired by the vast desert horizon she seemed to love drawing. To his surprise, she didn't reject the name. She simply accepted it with a small blink. At night, Ryan would hear her soft footsteps wandering the hallways, as though she couldn't sleep without checking every corner of the house for danger. On the 4th morning, as sunlight poured through the windows, Ryan stood in his kitchen staring at Sky's latest drawing. 3 women standing near a river, their hands reaching out as if calling for someone. He felt a weight settle in his chest. He knew he had to call authorities, but something held him back. The girl trusted him more than anyone. He could see it in the way she followed him room to room. He wondered if reporting her might send her back to whatever she had escaped. But he knew the situation could not stay like this forever. He sat across from Sky, trying once more to ask her where she came from, but she only shook her head and pointed at the river in her drawing. The message was clear: she wanted to go home, but she was afraid. Terribly afraid. That fear pushed Ryan to act, but before he could pick up his phone, a sudden, loud knock echoed through the house, startling both of them. Sky froze instantly, her small body shaking. The wooden eagle slipped slightly in her hand. Ryan moved toward the door cautiously, unaware that what waited on the other side would change everything he thought he understood. The knock echoed through the mansion like a warning. Ryan felt a chill ripple down his spine, though the morning sun was warm. For 4 days, Sky had barely spoken, yet she clung to him with a trust that felt fragile and precious. He glanced back at her, her small body trembling, her eyes wide, the wooden eagle pressed to her chest like a lifeline. Ryan slowly opened the door, preparing for anything, except what he actually saw. 3 Apache women stood before him, their long dresses moving in the desert wind, their faces worn with exhaustion and desperate hope. The eldest woman's breath hitched as she looked past Ryan and spotted the tiny girl behind him. Before she could speak, her knees nearly buckled. Sky's eyes filled with tears she had held back for days, but she didn't run to them. She only stared, unsure, afraid. Ryan stepped aside carefully, letting the women into the soft shade of the porch. The eldest woman introduced herself as Neal. Her voice trembled as she explained they had been searching for Sky for days, fearing the worst. But the girl's silence kept her rooted, hesitant to move even an inch. Just as Neal tried to step toward the child, Ryan noticed her expression shift from relief to fear. Her gaze drifted past him, toward the long driveway leading to the main road. A black SUV was rolling in slowly, its windows dark, its engine barely audible. Something about the way it moved made Ryan's instincts flare. Sky instantly hid behind him, gripping his shirt with one hand and the wooden eagle with the other. Her small shoulders shook violently, as if memories she couldn't speak were clawing their way back to the surface. Neal leaned toward Ryan, her voice barely above a whisper. "They're back," she said, trembling. "The men who tried to take her." Ryan's pulse surged. He didn't know who they were, but he didn't like the fear in the woman's eyes. He had seen fear in boardrooms, in financial crises, in people desperate for help, but this was different. This was primal, protective. The younger Apache women pulled Sky closer, forming a shield around her with their bodies. Ryan stepped forward, planting himself between them and the approaching SUV without even thinking. The black vehicle came to a stop at the bottom of the driveway. Two men stepped out, large, expressionless, dressed in black tactical clothing that didn't match the desert heat. Ryan could tell instantly this wasn't a family matter, and it wasn't a simple misunderstanding. These men moved with purpose, with training. One scanned the house, the other scanned the women, and then their eyes landed on Sky. She whimpered softly, her grip tightening. Before the men could take a step forward, Ryan raised his hand, signaling them to stop. He didn't know what authority he held at that moment, but he refused to back down. One of the men smirked, as if amused by Ryan's attempt to intervene. "We're here for the girl," he said calmly, too calmly. "She belongs with us." But Sky's sudden trembling made it clear that wasn't true. Neal spoke up, her voice shaking with anger. "You have no right," she said. "You tried to take her from our land. She ran from you." The man ignored her completely, keeping his cold stare fixed on Sky. Ryan felt something shift inside him. This wasn't business. This wasn't charity. This was about a child who had trusted him, maybe without reason, but trust nonetheless. The men took another step forward. Ryan moved too, blocking their way fully now. His calm CEO composure cracked. What replaced it was something fierce, something protective he didn't know he had. "You're not taking her," he said, his voice steady but dangerous. The men exchanged a glance, realizing this wouldn't be easy. Behind him, Sky let out a tiny sob. Neal wrapped her arms around the girl, whispering something in Apache that sounded like a prayer. The desert wind grew stronger, kicking up dust across the driveway as if the land itself disapproved of the intruders. The standoff stretched into tense silence. Every instinct in Ryan told him this moment was a turning point, one he couldn't walk away from. He didn't know the full story yet, didn't know why Sky had been targeted, or what these men wanted. But he knew one thing with absolute clarity: she was in danger, and he would not let her be taken. Not now. Not ever. The men realized he wasn't bluffing. Their expressions hardened. And in that instant, Ryan understood, this wasn't the end of the problem. This was the beginning of a fight far bigger than he expected. A fight he was now part of, whether he liked it or not.